Glory, glory, what a hell of a way to die. What up, everybody? Beacon here from Malice Corp, and we are here for your MaliceCast TV talk. We are preaching on Preacher, Season 2, Episode 7, Pig. When pigs fly. Hashtag that. So yeah, we're going to just introduce you to everybody that's here. Then we're just going to jump right in and just talk about our things we loved, things we hated, things we're going to speculate on. With me tonight is Super Hoovian Freak.
What is up?
And Mr. Finally here, because this is the reason we're late, by the way, people. I have no shame with throwing people under the bus. Mr. Mess 5150.
Hey guys, sorry, people don't know how to put in their stuff
Driver.
at ATMs, and yeah.
There's an app on your phone that you could just like take a picture of your check and
Yeah, I don't think my work would be very fun with me depositing money to them into my account.
Okay. Might be the last time. Okay. And back. He is back again. The big Papa Matt.
Hey everybody, how's it going out there? Jay Lee, shout out in the chat room. What's up, brother? How's everything going? We got Jack Malice out there too. Hey yo, how's everybody doing tonight?
Whew, what an episode.
All I know, if any of you guys don't know this already, I'm feeling like a one-eyed Nazi with nipple chains right now. So,
I am not.
great episode of Preacher tonight.
not.
Great episode of Preacher.
No.
Yeah, winning your enemies over with romance every time is Airstar.
Airstar. I'm not gonna lie, I think he's my new favorite character for sure. We lost our angels, and Airstar has taken over for me.
Just when you thought the show couldn't get any edgier.
Any edgier or any weirder. Any weirder.
Oh, I think this thing has plenty of room to go. It's got plenty of room to go.
Just when I thought the show could finally get even more towards the comics.
No, I think we hit a great point, and it just shows it. They talked about it at Comic-Con where Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg are getting away with a lot from the comics to put into the show, and I'm really looking forward to see how much more they're willing to push after an episode like this.
So the flying pig was in the comic? Levitating pig?
I don't know.
No, that wasn't.
Okay. No. I guess no one can
pigs
use
fly.
the phrase anymore, though, when I'll do that when pigs fly, or that'll happen when pigs fly, because a pig flew.
Well, until the pig killed everybody. Which was fantastic, by the way. Man, there was some great scenes. I got a bunch of notes. I'm sure Mest has some notes.
I have some notes. That was probably that pig line. That was probably my favorite line by Airstar.
Stop this right now. The best scene in this whole show was right up in the beginning, and the kid runs up with the Falcons Super Bowl championship shirt. Like that immediately just shows you what country we're immediately in right now. Is a third world poor ass country. I loved it.
Once again, thank you to David Bass, who is the production designer, and he made that shirt. He said it's his contribution to wardrobe this season.
It's phenomenal. It's so good.
It was amazing.
It plays into that joke of what team do the third world countries think is the best team of all time? The Buffalo Bills, because all the
4 champions in a row.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're funny.
I bet you there's big old Buffalo Bill fans out there that have 4 Super Bowl champion Bills shirts that they've found somewhere.
Yes.
And they're just living in denial. The 90s just never happened for them. They blacked out, and they're like, yes, Super Bowl champ.
One of the funniest things ever was NFL Films made a best team of all time, and it was a fake documentary as if the Bills had won every single one of their games.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's beautiful.
Oh man,
that is glorious. Or as Jack likes to say, "Gory, gory! What a hell of a way to die for the Bills." That's a send off for them.
That whole scene.
Yeah,
I'd already seen the promo.
Poor Jim Kelly.
Poor Jim Kelly. Yeah, and Thurman Thomas.
The thing is if Jim Kelly stays in Buffalo, New York, he'll live like a king the rest of his life.
That's
true.
Yeah.
That is true. That is true. What an episode, though. So many really, really, really good moments. I love the scene, the whole scene in the bar with the Cassie's like, I know exactly where we need to go. Bang.
Yes.
Finger guns
to get some money. Yeah.
Well, his reactions the whole time that he's in that bar were phenomenal. I think he said one word the whole time, and
Great
I think
acting.
it was what. And the rest of it was just Tulip taking over, and it was.
Oh no! He said he
the other line was, "I would do the small one."
Yeah, I would do
the small one. Yeah. And no, he also responded to the "I love you," so that was kind of messed up. I mean, I get it. You're playing the boyfriend thing. She didn't need to throw the "I love you" in there. She didn't need to throw that.
But he meant it. He meant
it, and she knows he means it. So that was just cruel.
I don't think she does 100%.
You think she's not realizing the depth of the feelings there? Is she just ignoring it, or?
I think she doesn't. I don't think she 100% realizes. I think because he keeps talking about he's my mate, he's my to her.
Yeah.
So.
I think she absolutely realized that she just is going wild and crazy right now, as you saw at the end of the episode, where she's kind of lost her like she's lost her mind. And I think she's playing all the cards, playing everything right now because she knows she's not going to get busted for anything. She's got Jesse protecting her, and she can manipulate Cassidy any moment she wants to.
Yep. And she's probably a little sleep deprived because, she's been trying not to sleep because she's having
horrible nightmares.
Santa killer nightmares.
Oh my God.
Yeah, holy heck, right? Jeez. Well, the thing is I think I think she knows Jesse's lying to her with those dreams. And, she's trying to feel, after he touched her, all that kind of stuff. My question is, though, is when he touched her, did he take a part of her soul when he grabbed her?
The Santa killers, you mean?
Yeah.
That's possible. It's possible. I mean, they say that people that lose their soul don't sleep.
I think
so. Maybe
horrible PTSD.
Yeah,
very true. I mean, that is probably the closest she's been. Well, I don't know. I mean, do you think she's? Well, I don't. Yeah, that's probably the closest she's been to death in a long time, or at all. Yeah. She was literally seconds away from having a sword come down on her face.
That then the factor that that's the most out of control she's ever been for when dealing with anything with gunfights or anything. She's never been that much completely out of control.
Right. At least not that I can remember. But so that's going to be interesting to see how the two of them, because right now in this episode when they're talking to each other and he's like, okay, well, do you want to come with me? No, of course you don't. You're actually wondering just why are they even a couple right now?
But, I do love the scene in the bar though when they're super drunk, and drinking's bad, kids.
Yes.
But when they're really drunk and they're kind of starting to pick at each other, but then there's that moment where they both just start busting up laughing. And
So I think they'll be okay in the end. I think they'll be okay, but
you guys are picking on all the wrong signs here. Once again, the T-shirt in the bar, the beautiful corgi that Cassidy is wearing in the bar has a bullet hole square in his forehead after he gets shot.
I didn't even notice that.
All the wrong spots on this show. The T-shirts are phenomenal every single time.
I missed that. I totally missed that.
I didn't see that either.
I literally burst into tears when I saw the corgi had a bullet hole straight in his forehead.
Well, I was
so good.
I was crying the entire time during the entire Air Star initiation into the Grail. Oh my gosh, that might be the best 5 minutes of Preacher so far.
100%.
Like, I just can't get over it.
The quote from the mortician is just like, man, you'd be surprised how many times this happens once they started driving together. Like,
the drunk truck and the dead truck. Yeah.
The drunk truck and the dead truck. Yeah.
Well, and then Cassidy's inside the locker, and he's like, He's like,
Oh.
oh, not again.
Like, how many times has that
like,
happened to
you'd be
him?
surprised how many times. So on both ends, from the mortician and from him, it's happened multiple times.
Yes.
Although why he got so drunk in the first place is he had that guy finally translating what the hell his son's
Yes.
telling him. And you find out that Dennis wants to live forever. So essentially Dennis wants him to make him a vampire.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, hell no, no. And he ends up getting super wasted. And
And he's like, and I'm going to die and hate you, basically. Yeah.
then he's like, yeah. And it's sad, because he was like, yeah, everyone usually does. So it's clearly.
I don't think
So-
it's usually. I think he just straight up said everybody does.
Is that
Everybody
what
does. Yeah,
everybody does?
Yeah, everybody does. Oh, well, and that's just the thing. Like, once again, you guys are just paying to the wrong parts, just really wrong parts of this show.
Keep us on track.
I mean, here's the thing, right? We were on the dead and drunk truck. The best way to test dead or drunk is a cattle prod. Now we know that. We now know you must carry a cattle prod with dead or drunk friends
Well,
and or both.
I
And
love
test
the
that out.
line. I love the line. One of yours. This
One of
one's mine.
yours.
Yeah, one of yours.
He rolls his eyes. He's like, "This one's mine." I mean, once again, we talked about this. Brian and I. We talked about this. Episode 1 and 2. Just those little scenes, those little touches.
Mhm.
They're not main story drivers. They're not main moments, but just the detail in this show. It just has it running all the time. And Jay Lee is just loving himself some Ash vs. Evil Dead. So shout out to another show on Stars right now. It's Ash vs. Evil Dead. If you haven't seen it, love it. It's amazing. Lucy Lawless, killer, and quoting Jay Lee, timeless and kick-ass as always on that show. So
Mhm.
huge piece.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how do I follow that up?
Well, I'll tell you how you followed up, because
Bulletproof Hustle. That's how you follow it up.
the Bulletproof Hustle for sure, right? Definitely the best board game that I've never played, and I can't wait to try. I'm excited for this
have fun with that.
Bulletproof game as much as I was about like beer pong when I first heard about it. I was like, I gotta try this out. This is gonna be awesome.
Well, and you're in the
You
place
have
to
fun with
see
that.
it. If it happens anywhere in the world, it's got to be in Texas. So
Well,
And just
I'm
to
the
specify,
state
kids,
Hey,
it's better
hey,
to do
it-
that at home.
absolutely.
It
don't
could happen
play
in
this game at
Alaska.
home.
Don't play that game at home.
Yeah.
If you have the right safety equipment and you are trained and you put a warning label up on your YouTube channel, feel free to play every game you want, kids.
I love the guys coming-
And the last time Big Papa Matt was ever on the line.
Hey man, I gave them all the tips they need to make sure they have a safe, fun time, and that's making sure you put a warning label at the bottom of your YouTube video.
I love how she comes back in the bar and all the guys take off their hats and they're like,
Oh, I know. Like they're being
condolences, ma'am.
respectful.
Yeah, get your hats on, you idiots.
It's
"He just robbed you."
So
Too blind.
I know how you guys, I love all the fun parts of the show. Like I just do love it for the entertainment part of it, but I know you guys like to get in depth and wild sometimes. So Tulip, I want to talk about Tulip for a second. So we
Okay.
know she's kind of going a little wild, crazy. She had
Mhm.
that touch with death, if you will. Do you think she is stepping into the role of maybe like some sort of soothsayer or prophet now? We have our preacher, we have our soothsayer prophet, and then we have our demon, vampire as a group right here.
I think she's just a reckless woman.
No, I think she's just out of control. Just out of control right now.
She's showing her immaturity greatly in the episodes. That's to point to what Beacon was saying about the getting drunk and the laughing to each other and stuff. She was showing straight up how immature she was, and then Jesse just started kind of laughing in on it. But I think she's just reckless, and it's something like this that will potentially bring her back into understanding the severity of things.
Maybe. Yeah.
Understanding there's consequences now. She felt invincible, and now that
Yeah.
feeling's gone. You think?
Or
Yeah.
she's trying to recapture that feeling of invincibility. That's why she's doing what she's doing with the shooting. Because she stands up at the end, and after they shot her, and she's like, "All right, again, go again."
Well,
So
that's
she's
a
like,
very masochistic way for people to feel that way, right? And that's a way
Yeah.
for how a lot of people, from a great show that actually, demonstrated this as well was Leftovers. You had a main character that did the same thing where she was actually getting shot in the chest with a bulletproof vest on to feel again, right?
That's what I was about
one
to
of those
say
things,
too. Yeah. I was about to say is she's having these nightmares, and it's like dreams within a dream, even. To where how much is she tripping out on what's real and what's not real, and so that's a way that she can feel like, I am alive. I am not dreaming.
Yeah, 100%. And that's like I said, that's kind of where my prophet theory came from, where she's seeing all these things now and she's realizing it and she's having more connection with those items. But we'll see how that kind of falls into. And for sure, she's always just been that badass character. And now with her family dead, back in Anna, it's one of those things now where is this what the story that we get with her now, where we don't see her as that family lady anymore, but we see her as that new character.
Well, I also
possible.
think that
Possible.
she's seeing herself as the weakest of the group. She's realized Cassidy's a vampire. He can't die basically, except by sunlight and stuff. And Jesse has this power that he can tell people what to do and stuff. And she's just
she's just a woman.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, she's a badass woman, but
she mentions she has to rely on everybody. If not for Cassidy stepping in and getting all his fingers chopped off,
that was so creepy.
That timing. And Jesse was late.
Jesse's reaction though, like, I was busy too.
Yeah. I had stuff going.
I had stuff
going on too.
Hey,
like
one of the things we were talking about with the little things that they do when you're in Tulip's nightmare. And the saint is there, and that's just the little fingers falling down.
Oh, dude, that was so creepy.
So good. I love it.
Talking about
so good.
Cassidy's fingers getting cut off.
Absolutely.
Well, talking about little things. I love the guy that's on the soapbox preaching about the incoming near, and his sign.
Good.
His sign with the end is near, and then he wrote again seriously with like undermarking and then if you want to buy me a beer.
My favorite line from that scene was when he was talking about, oh, you want some of the signs of the apocalypse,
Tom
Cubs
Cruise exploding, Cubs winning
the World Series,
and a flying pig.
Yep.
Like all of these things,
all those things together. And I like how that he lumps all of those together.
It's all the signs, man. It's all the signs.
So
one of my favorite lines from that in End of the Times Preacher, Revelation Preacher, if you will, was the world's been ending since it started. That was one of my favorite lines.
That was just a very prophetic statement, in general.
And then he ends his conversation with Jesse by saying, what is more frightening than who we are and what we've done? Which was the moment where Jesse's kind of self-reflecting.
Once again, you guys are looking at all the wrong quotes. Cassidy, as soon as he gets up, hey, how you feeling, man? Oh, great, open bar.
I think for me, my favorite girl of the night, and I probably should have asked if this was okay to say, but you know what, is when they're in the Hairstar is and he's getting instructions, so he's like, all right, well, what now? And he's given the whole spiel about Jesus and taking out all the false prophets, and he's like, all right, he's like, so mankind on its knees begging for direction, like the ugly girl to gangbang,
Gangbang's bad.
Well, I mean, they're all bad, but
Star's best quote: "Do you validate parking?"
There was a better one. I won't say the whole quote. I'll just say, "I need to see it to believe it."
Need to see it to believe it. See it to believe it.
That was another good one.
Airstar, first of all, my favorite new character, by absolutely. Him and Cassie are right up there for me, because there was no better scene than him competing for the position, and then they get down to the final shoot off, and the whole time watching, he's like, just shoot him. You ain't got to get down the target. You just got to be the last one standing.
He's like, good luck.
And sure enough, he's just like it was didn't even look at the guy, just pulled the trigger on him. And then the dude recruiting him at the end, they're sitting there, they're smoking cigars at the end, and as they're looking at that sunset, I'm like, oh man, he's gonna shoot this guy too. And even better than shooting him, he just pushes him off the edge. Like, goodbye, get out of here. I'm taking over. I'm now the man in white. So there you go. Airstar made a great first showing here.
And I love when he left Vietnam and everybody's dead. The dude standing there that's the pig did it. Like, I don't remember what the exact sign said, but implying that the pig.
Well, if we're talking about that scene where he pushes him off the cliff, off the balcony, once again, the quotes that were missed there is talking about the messianic people that they had to take out: Abraham Lincoln,
Lincoln,
Belushi.
How you killing my man Belushi? Oh my gosh, how you doing that to me?
When they threw Belushi in there,
man. Yeah, the Belushi throw in was the best. That was
what did you say about Lincoln? That he must have been very poetic or something like that, or
very popular.
Very
popular in the polls.
His poll numbers were off the charts or something like that.
Exactly. But
and then
to talk about that, since this is where I have little things to there's the difference of episodes versus comics. Airstar, they catch the character of the way that you see him at the time in the comics perfectly. The difference is, in the comics, Airstar does kind of believe in the Grail when he's younger and a little bit and stuff like that. It's just as he sees what the actual living Jesus is, that he starts realizing how ridiculous the Grail is.
Don't spoil it for us or anything. Jeez.
Because they completely changed this. They completely changed how,
we're enjoying this ride, okay?
Yeah.
You think everything's a joke. Yeah, no.
Although we did end the episode clearly with him getting the call that he needs to go now take out Jesse Custer in New Orleans. If they're still going to be in New Orleans, which I'm assuming they are next episode. So that's going to be fun because he's obviously, they have no clue that this group is coming for him. So it's going to be fun to see.
Honestly, he has no idea where to go at this point. He had a plan, and it's a realization.
He had the plan.
Well, it's a realization that it's not going to be as easy to find God as you think it is. It's not just going to, you're not just going to be able to walk into some jazz bar. He's going to be sitting there, all glowing light, and there's God. Knew he was there the whole time.
Yeah. Well, he was watching the pig news at the end, right?
With Stephen Hawking?
with Stephen Hawking, right? So is he thinking...
What, are you a scientist?
Yes.
No. Well, then shut up.
But so is he thinking that that's an act of God, or... I mean...
I don't think he is.
Okay.
I think he's just watching the news because it's just the most talked about... A flying pig is the most talked about news story throughout the whole episode. Yeah,
totally. Interesting. Man. Well, I can't wait for next week.
So here's one of the things. So last week, I don't know if you guys talked about this. So we watched Jesse put the Saint of Killers in a truck and put him at the bottom of a swamp, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I would really love the end of this episode where Jesse was talking about splitting up his soul. And when I watched the episode last week, I was like, why the hell is he doing this? Like, why not just send him to hell, send him to heaven, be done with him, get him out of your way, right? And watching this, he talks about, well, I tell your friend to sell a kidney rather than sell a part of his soul. That's not a good idea to sell a part of your soul. And I think what he did was he put the Saint of Killers in a safe place. And he put him for safekeeping because he does have a part of his soul. So he put him in there to control him, to be able to handle that situation now, but to still save that part of his soul and sit for safekeeping, basically, that he knows nothing will happen to that portion of what he gave up, and it'll always be there for him. So that was kind of a cool, I thought that was a really cool opening right there, where I'm hoping that's what his kind of thought process was, and it wasn't just a happy accident,
He's going to need to go find Ando to extract that 1% of his soul.
Yeah, you got to get Ando. Well, it'll be fine. Hero will come around, start teleporting people, messing up the timelines. So it'll happen.
Oh man,
That's excellent. Great
I
call
missed-
out to Amazing Show and Heroes. God, I missed that show. Anyways, Preacher's way better.
Well,
so-
Everybody misses that show until they bring it back, and then they're like, "I don't miss this show anymore."
Yeah, and then it came back, and you're like, "Oh
Okay,
yeah, I forgot this show sucks for a little while. It was bad for a couple seasons."
they just needed to do a
I-
spinoff
I
of
miss
just
when the
Ando and
show-
Hero. So
Yeah, just give me an Ando Hero.
Yeah,
series
I miss-
for sure.
I do, yeah. I miss when that show was good.
And
That's
Vigo's
what I
living his
miss.
life, as his Heroes character in the 70s with Mandy Moore, so it's all good, He's out there living his life now. Anyways, no, I just thought that was a really cool tie-in back to last episode because I was so confused by that move from Jesse. He seems to be a very kind of cold-blooded when it comes to that kind of stuff, and I was like, why was he saving this dude? And to kind of hear this portion of it and this thought process was kind of a cool callback to that, so it made a lot more sense for me.
yeah, because he's going to have to figure out what is he going to do. Is he going to send him to heaven so that he can save that 1%, or is he going to try to extract the soul, or is he going to send him to hell? We know that he goes to hell at some point, just from the season promo trailers.
Or just keep him around with his portion that he can control until he finds another match of another soul to give him and then send him off,
True. That's mean.
So it's just one of those things. I was definitely, like I said, I was very confused by the decision, but I think this is just a really cool way for him to, obviously, to keep that character around so that it's not a complete dead part of the story anymore. We still always have the threat of the Saint of Killers coming back, but
Right.
at the same time, it's very cool that there's still that little bit where Jesse can kind of play that card a little bit more if he has to.
Right.
Totally true. True that.
Do you think if he had killed or sent the Saint of Killers to either heaven or hell, do you think that Tulip would be suffering from the PTSD that she's having?
Yeah, I think.
Or do you think that she,
I don't think it has anything to do with him being there. I think it just has to do with what happened.
Yeah, I don't think
Okay.
so either. I think it'll just be a lot worse when she finds out that he is alive and Jesse lied to her. And that'll be the bigger
Okay.
thing is she can
Well,
have all this
did he-
suffering. And
Did he really lie? I mean, he didn't say. She said you sent him to hell, right? And he was like, he's gone.
he's gone. Yeah, but he didn't give her the 100% truth. He misled
No.
her slightly.
yeah, he did. Yeah, he
And-
did.
Alternative
think that's
facts.
where that'll come
Alternative
in.
facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, once again, Trump coming back. So, anyways, yeah. What's up,
Flying
Wes?
pigs.
Well, the thing I didn't think about, and since you're bringing up Saint Killers and it's just popped in my head now.
Oh, look at me! I'm making mess thing, making him use that thing 3 feet above his.
I wonder how much of the connection of Jesse's soul connects to emotions of the Saint Killer and stuff like that, because they've already hinted towards this in this show, and then on the Comic-Con panel, the actor that plays Jesse Custer straight out said what happened to his character as a young boy, the being put into a coffin underwater. Now you're putting the Saint into
geez.
basically
Yeah.
a coffin underwater. I wonder
Absolutely.
if
Dude.
him having his soul, a piece of his soul there, is going to
Oh.
emotionally hit with the Saint as well.
Well, and that's the thing
That's a
is
good point.
it's very much a mirror of what happened there for sure, right? And that's why I wanted to bring it up because it is such a crazy piece to that, right? It really is.
Mhm.
So for me, that's immediately why I immediately put notes on it about it from last episode because I knew I wasn't going to be on with you guys, and I really wanted to make sure. I even watched that episode and I was like, all right, they didn't talk about this. We got to talk about this now because they had a perfect callback to it in this episode, so it's a great little transition for it. But man, it's such a cool thing to think about where that kind of duality of that's there, where his character was, Jesse's character is young, was put underwater in that coffin, and now the Saint of Killers is in a coffin of sorts and underwater too. So no,
In
you're
the
right, Mess.
same
You bring up a
swamp.
great point on it. Yeah, absolutely. In that swamp, in that gator swamp,
In Angelville, yeah. So,
Deep down in the bayou.
in the bayou.
Alligator jambalaya. I do watch a lot of swamp people and things like that. So,
I used to watch the heck out of Swamp People. That was a
dude,
good show.
right? I don't know what half of them are saying, but like when you have to use subtitles,
Yeah, right. On like 90% of the characters.
you're like, oh, this is awesome. What else? What else?
we may have turned somebody on to watching Preacher because
Yes.
Jason's like, Looks like I need to start watching Preacher.
I do a good job.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, you need to start watching Preacher.
You can thank me for Game of Thrones, and Jason, you can thank me for Preacher. You're welcome, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah, you totally should. And if I can binge watch 7 seasons worth of Game of Thrones in 2 weeks, Jason, you can easily catch up with us in one.
Oh yeah, Preacher's an easy watch too. It's a good watch. It's easy. It's a very quick one.
It goes pretty fast, yeah.
Almost as quick as Stranger Things, but not quite.
Not quite.
dude,
No, it's a little bit longer. Not as long as Game of Thrones, even just season-wise. I mean, episode by episode, Game of Thrones is just longer.
Yeah, well, and it's slow. I'm going to be honest with you. After stuffing all that in my brain, it is slow at parts. But no, Preacher is not. Yeah, Preacher is good. Preacher will keep you.
Preacher's pretty rapid fire. Yeah, you can't take your eyes off it. You miss.
Season. It ain't nothing.
Yeah, you miss some.
Oh, there we go from Jason. Challenge accepted. I pictured that in Neil Patrick Harris's voice, by the way, for all you How I Met Your Mother fans.
Wait for it.
Yeah, wait for it.
Nice. I mean that was kind of my episode of Preacher, man. I wanted to kind of drop a couple of things to think about on you guys because I really enjoy that tie of Jesse and the Saint, and then that's kind of where I'm at. What else you guys got, man?
Sorry, the chat show.
Cinemax. Nothing like a late night Cinemax time.
Super Hoovian and I at the same time. Enter on that comment.
I did have one question. What was with all the clocks in the room with the Jesus portrait? I mean, he had like 5 or 6 clocks mounted up on the wall. Was that like for time zones?
Yeah, those are time zones. He's got because he's watching all the different, all the different false gods, the different time zones.
Okay. Well, that's a really boring explanation.
But
logical.
The thing is look at it and see if there's a detail in times. I mean, I'm sure there might be something there breaking down, but it didn't really look like it.
Okay, I was just curious because that was a lot of clocks.
Yeah, for sure. Cool.
Yeah. And the best way to win a wrestling match is to distract your opponent, by the way. You don't necessarily have to do what Airstar did, but
no. I will say though,
apparently it works.
The scene with the chair, with the electrocuted chair, that was pretty freaking nuts.
The electric chair was gnarly.
Oh, dude, because he's just sitting there.
That's like definitely the right word to use too.
Yeah.
Unintended.
He's just sitting there. Like he's sitting there like it's Sunday tea at Grandma's house. I am like, dude, that guy's freaking insane. So that whole scene. I can't even remember everything else that went on in there, but
no, absolutely.
Yeah, they had the whole wrestling thing. They had the throwing the medicine balls against the wall, and then of course the running through the tires. So they had that whole like physical obstacle, and then hand-to-hand combat, and then seducing your enemy romantically in order to get what you needed.
He totally failed.
Oh, he did it. He had the right time getting what he needed.
No, give me the microfish or I will kill you and your whole family.
Passing grade's a passing grade. You ain't got to nail everything.
No, nope. Yeah. And at the end, there can be only one.
I just want to know how many people tried to copy him after he did that, where they were like, I can give that a shot. I can do that. I ain't got to do this the hard way. Just make this easy.
No.
Oh.
No, there is only one hair star.
Yeah,
I'm waiting to see those pops just topple on you, Beacon. Every time you move, they start doing
Papa-lanch.
Yeah, Papa-lanch.
You have 2 ice zombies?
I'll have Liv More all over me. That'll be nice. No, I have 3 of them actually. There's 3 of them. I'm only missing one in her set.
Did we talk at all about? about Cassidy in the in the
morgue.
cold chamber. Yeah,
Yes.
tapping on the door.
Ah.
Yeah, I talked about it. Not again.
Yeah, not again.
So
Yeah, that was
there
pretty
there
funny.
wasn't enough Cassidy in the episode, but
There wasn't.
There was. What are you talking about? His facial expressions in the bar were the best.
But Matt, I'm going to tell you right now, and you're going to agree with me because you will. There's never enough Cassidy.
100%. 100%. I agree with that. I don't think he.
I'm
lost
waiting
his
for the
shine.
spinoff. I'm totally waiting for the spinoff.
The issue is they pulled him off his normal train, which was him actually caring about his son rather than just yelling at him about being an asshole.
Yes.
Sleep. That part of it. So
An arsehole.
Yes.
Yeah.
there you go.
And that's an interesting little plot twist for sure. Because we find out was it last week we found out that, or 2 weeks ago,
Dennis.
that Dennis is
Dennis.
son.
last week.
It was
and then
last
he's
week.
dying, and then
He wants to be a vampire.
that's what he's actually saying in French.
Yeah.
I love how he
So-
doubts the guy when the guy first says it. Like, how would you know?
I'm a French teacher. Yeah.
And is it just
I'm a
me?
French
I'm wondering
professor.
if everybody else thought this. When I first saw that guy, I was like, "Is that Mark Hamill?" Like, I totally did a double take. I was like, "Wait, is that?" No. Okay.
I didn't. I could see a resemblance, but it was more like a familial resemblance more than an actual doppelganger.
And then I tried to look up on IMDb, and when he didn't pop up on there, I was like, yeah, "It's definitely not him."
Not Mark. Not Mark. Could never be Mark.
He would have been in the
No.
opening credits. Like
He would have. He would have had a
absolutely.
bigger role. If you're going to get a Mark Hamill on Preacher, you're going to have a role written for the guy. He's not. He's not
being
going
that
to be
it's going-
translating. Yeah, he's not going to be.
In Hamill, they'll definitely give him. Yeah.
Yeah,
They're super nerds and
you don't have a Mark Hamill come on the show and just have him be the French translator.
But the thing is you do though. That's how great this show is you can get someone like Hamill to come on and be a French professor for a scene and a half.
Yeah,
That's how good they are though. It really is.
it is a good show. They had some going back for How I Met Your Mother reference. They had some crazy cameos in that. So
If Murder She Wrote can have every freaking cameo under the sun within that show, when you go back and see it, and Preacher can do it too.
yeah, because
I'm not sure how we went from Preacher to Murder She Wrote, but we got there.
Well, talking about cameos, we're just talking about shows that had a lot of cameos. I think most recently that's the show I could think of the most that had the most cameos, and it was How I Met Your Mother. I mean, it even had a freaking Conan O'Brien cameo in one episode where he didn't even have a speaking line. He was just in the bar getting up in the background and walking out. But you can't miss him. He's a 6'3" Irish redhead, So,
Well,
anyways.
I'm just waiting for Star to come to New Orleans and get more Malcolm Butler and get some Featherstone. Because
Yes.
once we get
Malcolm
Featherstone
Butler.
and can't remember
Did you mean Malcolm Bennett?
Malcolm Bennett. Sorry. Once we get Featherstone and
Yes.
the character that Malcolm plays, then it'll
Or
get
it's
fun.
So is that coming next episode then? Or is that going to still be a couple?
I don't know.
You're going to see some more Grail. You'll see Grail in the next episode.
Okay.
Awesome. Just the name of the next episode is Holes, I believe, right? Yeah, it's Holes because Tulip is trying to fix all the holes made from the Santa Killer's gunfire, and that draws her to the neighbors and the new neighbors because the dude got killed by, almost all their neighbors got killed. The Grail has
by the Santa Killer group, yeah.
So we're going to definitely get more of the Grail next week. To what extent, I don't know. That's all I know is that the promo for next week was Meet the Neighbors. It was one of the promos, and so you get to see the Grail next door spying on them.
Well, that was showing Featherstone and
yes.
Awesome.
Well,
awesome.
no, did it show both of them? Because I just saw Featherstone.
I thought I saw that in the picture of both of them.
Probably. I wasn't paying too close attention. I was kind of doing 3 things at once. But yeah, so we'll see that happen.
Yeah, they're both in the picture.
Okay, cool. So then he will be back next week.
Awesome.
And then we should get some more. We're gonna definitely get some more into Eugene and Hell, and
it's about time. Yeah, to see what's going on. Awesome.
Well, yeah, we'll be at,
it's going to be a good episode.
We'll be at episode 8. So I mean, that's 5 episodes to go. Yeah.
And they're going to pack a lot. They're going to pack it in there.
Not as much as Game of Thrones. Packing it.
A lot to go, but definitely make sure that you come back next week so that we can talk about Hitler and Eugene in Hell, and we could talk some more about what the
our favorite buddy
what the hell
comedy
is going
duo.
on.
Nah, man. If there's no chained nipple pierced one-eyed Nazis, I don't want anything to do with it. So.
Well, there should be a significant amount of Cassidy. There should be go ahead.
I was gonna say we need him here to tell us about all the greatest shirts on the episode.
Yeah, everything that he did.
Trust me. Yeah, I love the small details. You guys have got to go back and see the corgi shirt with a bullet hole in his head. It is so good. It's so good.
And there should be quite a bit of Cassidy next week as well. So that's I know that's your favorite too.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Let's go around and hear where we can follow everybody, and let's wrap this up and have you guys come back on Friday for our weekly podcast at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then turn right around on Sunday for some more Game of Thrones. It will be a good time. So
it's a bloody good 2 nights in a row.
Yes. So go ahead, Super. Where can we follow you?
Follow me on Twitter at Super Hoovy and Nut. It's a party every day. You never know what we may be talking about on Twitter. Tonight, it was all about yodeling. No joke.
Can you yodel?
I cannot yodel, but I found out that David Hayden Jones can yodel.
But can you try to yodel right now?
Yeah, there we go. That's my yodel.
That just got us 100 new subscribers. You just broke us into the yodeling cruise, man. You got us a whole new audience right there.
That's a whole new category.
A whole new audience afloat.
In the tags for this.
That's got to be in the tag of yodeling and some sort of like singing, something like that, right? We can throw all that in now.
That would be hilarious.
Mess, where can we follow you at?
You can follow me on Twitter at Mest_Malice Corp, and you can also follow me on Instagram at Mest5150.
Okay, and the only person who has a longer tagline than Daenerys Stormborn of House Targaryen, Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons.
Stormborn, the first of her name.
There you go. The first of her name. Queen of the Anvils.
Queen of the Anvils and first of her name.
Protector of the realm. Go ahead, Matt.
Breaker of Chains, Mother of Dragons. Yes. So something like that. Maybe we're close. I doubt it. So yeah, Big Papa Matt. You can follow me on the site. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Also at the Big Papa Matt. You can hit me up on my other show, the Nerd Mosh Pit. We'll be recording here tomorrow night as well. You can follow them on Nerd Mosh Pit on Twitter, as well as email us and let us know what you guys think of the show at nerdmoshpit@gmail.com. And then also hit me up on the Snapchat, Son of Maku, SONOFMAKU. And that's also my PlayStation Network name. You can hit me up. Let's play some games. I'm also loving Splatoon 2 right now. Shout out to Nintendo for having a blast of a shooter. I'm having a ton of fun with that. I'll put a friend's code up on the site or something like that on my Twitters, things of that nature. And I would love to see you guys on that too.
Right on. And definitely, if you are in the San Marcos, San Diego area, make sure you check out our friends at
What's up to Robert? He just joined.
Oh, Robert. Better late than ever. Sky High Comics in San Marcos. If you want to get your hands on some Preacher graphic novels, comics, go ahead and check out Sky High Comics. You really should read.
Just read. It's good for your soul.
It's good for you, but you really should read Preacher. We have to give Super Hoovian the comics so she can go every time she watches an episode. This episode's so weird.
I know, yeah. I'll borrow the comics. I'll read them.
I have not
awesome.
read Preacher comics at all either, and I love the show for it. And
I do. I like it. It's
but you have
that
a
does
way different mindset than Super Hoovy.
Yeah.
You're a little more twisted than she.
But
I
I'm
have a
always
very,
gonna,
Death to Smoochy type of mind right there.
That's a smoothie.
Shout out to the OG Death to Smoochy.
Yes.
Shout out to the Death to Smoochy.
because it is bizarre, very bizarre.
It is. I love that movie. I don't know what made me think of that.
Nice. I don't know either, but I love it. So yeah, definitely check out Sky High Comics for all your comic fix down there in that San Diego area. Check out Battle Mage if you're into drinking and playing games, or drinking and knowing things, as Tyrion would say. And they have excellent brews. Make sure
Shout out to King of the Goblins.
Yeah, Goblin King, is that what it's called?
I don't remember, but it was good.
It was
But anyway,
good beer.
Great stuff. Just make sure you call the Newbury so that you can
Be
drive
safe, kids.
please. And with that, you can follow me at beacon_Malice Corp. You can also follow the website at Malice Corp, and you can follow our cast here at MaliceCast. So hopefully we'll see you on Friday for our normal weekly podcast, and make sure that you're checking out the website malice-corp.com so that you can tune in to the Big Papa Matt's new podcast. Episode 8 should be coming out soon. And it's fantastic. I can't.
7.5 is out, and that was a blast with me and Kenny just in the car talking favorites.
Yes,
so,
hashtag road trip.
Hashtag road trip was phenomenal. It was a lot of fun.
So we definitely appreciate you all out there. Thank you so much for joining us in the chat channel, Jason and Robert, and anybody else that was viewing, or if you're watching, leave us a comment, give us a like and a subscribe. And until next time, stay nerdy out there.